actually, I want to go through this because it's incredible. Honestly amazed at what you've been doing with your work life. It's extensive. It's also really intensive. You specifically honed in on English. So you did your Bachelor of Arts in English Translation, Master of Arts teaching English as a foreign language. Then Doctor of Philosophy, PhD, Applied Linguistics at Curtin. Member of Talking Across Cultures Research Cluster.
Right, but this cluster has stopped working, but now we have other clusters, other research clusters.
And also currently you're studying a Doctor of Education, candidate Educational Psychology and Internationalization of Higher Education at UWA.
Yes, UWA. Yes, that is correct.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
I saw that you began as an English teacher and then you did three schools you were lecturing at, 3 universities?
Right now?
In the past?
No, actually they were in Iran.
Okay.
Before I came here, I had 2 language schools in Iran as well. So, but right now I'm just teaching here at Curtin. In the past, I used to work in 3 different schools, like one university, my own language school, plus as a sessional staff in another university. Because in Iran, you were allowed to work as many hours as you liked. But here, you are not allowed. There is kind of conflict of interest, then you can't do it. But here, I'm just teaching. I work for Curtin, like right now it is called Global Curtin, but previously it was Curtin International. So Curtin International looks after different campuses, and also has got partnership with different universities. So I work for offshore English program. So I just coordinate the programs there. And Curtin has got partnership with 6 different universities in China. So I look after that program. That's why I said I'm going to China next week. That is part of my job. So it is traveling to different partner universities with different classes, different groups, and observing classes, teachers, and we are also running a teacher training course next week as well. So this is what my job involves. I also teach in the School of Education, Masters of Applied Linguistics students. So I work only at Curtin now, but in 2 different areas. So one is a School of Education and the other one is Global Curtin. Yeah.
Okay. And then with going over there and being able to work with these students, you're doing a teaching course for them to be able to teach?
We teach English teachers there because our teachers are the local teachers, the Chinese teachers, so we train them. And then we have got something around 700 students there. So it is kind of articulation program. Articulation program means they start their mainstream courses in their universities. Then they study, in some universities they study for 2 years, in some universities they study for 3 years, and then they do the rest here. So while they're doing the 2 years or 3 years in their own countries, we just teach them English. So they don't need to sit IELTS or any other language courses. So they do our own course. It is called bridging program. Bridging is English plus tertiary study skills. So once they complete it, after, like some universities it is 2 years, some universities 3 years. After those 2, 3 or 3 years, they come here and they obtain direct entry into their mainstream courses. Yeah, this is what our program involves.
What made you interested to go through the pathway into learning English and being able to teach that?
For me, I always because my uncle had studied in the UK, so he always spoke English on the phone. And I always like to when I grow up, I always say, when I grow up, I will learn to speak English as well. So from the childhood, I always wanted to speak English. So I started picking some English here and there, and then when I went to secondary school, I started learning language, and then I always wanted to become an English teacher. So after that, I followed my passion, and then I became an English teacher back home. So like in Iran, after I graduated from university, after I completed my bachelor's degree, I started teaching. The course was English translation, but it also involved a lot of teaching units. So we had language teaching units, language testing units as well. So immediately after I graduated, I started teaching. But right after that, a few months after that, because in Iran you have to pass an entrance examination, university entrance examination. So I had to just pass it. So I passed it after a few months. It was very competitive. I ranked 4th among 240 candidates. So I was accepted into university, and then I did my master's, and then after a few years, because I had to do compulsory military service for 2 years. So it is compulsory for everyone. So after I completed it, I applied for migration visa, a skilled migrant visa. I came here as a translator because I used to teach translators as well, because they had to study English for the first few years. So their mainstream course was English translation. So I taught them both English and translation skills. And then I came here as a translator, but I followed my passion, which was teaching English. So I came here on January 1st, 2009. And then first I arrived in Melbourne. Then after a few months, 3 months, I got PhD admission and came here. And then after 3 days, I was offered a job as an English teacher. And then while I was doing my PhD, I also taught English part-time. And also at that time, I taught sociolinguistics and research methods in the School of Chinese Language. I didn't speak Chinese, but because these courses were offered in English, so I used to teach them like on a kind of sessional basis while I was doing my PhD, and also teaching English here at Curtin. And then I completed my PhD in 2013. And then right after that, I was offered annual contracts. Annually, it was renewed for around 8-9 years. And then in 2020, I was offered a full-time position and kind of permanent contract. And then I started my second doctorate actually, Doctor of Education, because I really liked psychology as well. Like what happens in the brain when the students are learning, and also like psychological aspects, like how personality affects learning, and in terms of personality, how do different people learn. Yeah.
So you're getting a psychological aspect to that, or in terms of...
Yes, but right now I'm looking at, like for my second doctorate, I'm looking at how psychologically international students are affected when they come to Australia. So like how this new environment psychologically, socially and academically affects them. And that is called intercultural competence. So how this lack of competence or insufficient competence in culture can affect the performance in the first year. So I'm just working on international students who come here and study for 1 year. So I started studying them from the very first day they arrive, the very first week they arrive, up to the end of year 1, because that is the most important period of their study, how they can adapt themselves to the new context and how it affects the performance. Right? Yeah.
Amazing. So have you seen any patterns in the data that you've collected or the students that you've engaged with currently?
The patterns, I've read quite a lot about them, but this one is kind of quantitative research. There is a lot of qualitative research, but quantitatively no one has ever studied the correlation between different factors. So I'm just looking at the correlation between these factors, because mostly it is qualitatively, and then because qualitative research tries to explore some different factors, but here I'm going to find the correlation between the factors. So there is no evidence as such yet from the quantitative perspective, but qualitatively, yes, there is a lot of rich data there.
This is from sociocultural, socioeconomic, sociopolitical.
Yes, sociocultural mainly. Right.
And then the culture is made of.
Yes, how culture or lack of cultural competence can just hinder learning, or can hinder like social interaction and academic achievements when they come here.
And is that specifically, is there a country specific?
No, international students from different countries. So I will collect my data from 15 different universities in Australia.
Okay.
So it is all international students who come here, come to Australia.
Okay. Do you know roughly some numbers in relation to how many students?
Okay, yes, I'm planning to have around 250 students, but I will contact as many students as I can, something around 1,000 students.
Because they're all in this specific course as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Incredible, that's really exciting.
It depends on like how many of them we get back, because they will need to complete the questionnaires 3 times. So I don't think the rate will be so high. If I contact maybe 1,000 people, I'm expecting something around 200 to 300 students to complete all the 3 surveys, because not all of them will complete it. Because I will need to just do the survey, get them to complete the survey when they arrive, 6 months after they arrive, 1 year after they arrive. Some of them might complete the first survey, not the second and the third one. And then I have to exclude them from the data, because I need only the students who complete all the 3 surveys.
This is online?
Yes, it should be online.
And this is volunteering?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's exciting. So this is yet to happen?
Yes, because I am still working on the survey, because this survey needs to be standardized, needs to be piloted, and then because I had to wait for ethics approval for 1 year, and it was approved a few weeks ago. Because with this Doctorate of Education, the first 2 years it is a coursework, right? So I completed the coursework, like it was completed last year. And then 2023, I had to go through, like, because there is another process after you complete it, you need to complete your proposal, and then proposal defense. And then after the proposal defense, you have to do your ethics approval, which takes something around 6 months, 7 months. And then I completed all. I completed the coursework, I completed candidacy defense, proposal defense. I completed like ethics approval, so everything has been done. And also 1 paper has been published related, because my thesis will be thesis by publication. So I will need to publish 3 papers, but I have planned like 7 papers. So the first one has been published, and the second one is almost over. I'm expecting it to be finalized by the end of December next month. So the second paper will be done. The third paper will be the first survey. It is like doing the survey and then doing the first statistical analysis, a pilot study, and then that will be published. And that pilot study will include 3 papers. So one will be on intercultural competence. The other one will be the social competence or social performance, or the survey for the social performance. And the third one is the survey for psychological performance. So there will be 3 papers. I'm expecting 3 papers to be completed by the end of 2024.
Okay, and the paper that's recently been released, what was that in relation to?
Yeah, it was like intercultural competence. It was a kind of literature review on intercultural competence in higher education. It was very good. It was read really well and also got 2 citations in 2 months, which is really good.
That's amazing. How exciting.
Yeah.
Yes. For you, with the second paper that you're releasing, what is that on?
The second paper is creating a new model of intercultural competence. What is intercultural competence? Because there are a lot of different models and there is no unanimity on what it is and what it consists of. So, because intercultural competence is looked at from different perspectives. Psychologists look at it from a different perspective. Educationalists, different perspectives. Sociologists from a different perspective. And each one looks at it from a different perspective. And there is no unanimity between them. So what I'm looking here is I'm just looking at intercultural competence from a different perspective. So maybe something which can bring all these different disciplines together around one comprehensive model of intercultural competence.
There hasn't been a comprehensive, inclusive model?
No, they say it is very difficult to reach at this stage. Yeah, because intercultural competence is a fairly new construct or phenomenon, something around 20 years. It has been studied for about 20 years. And I'm sure it is open to so much research. There will be quite a lot of other models which will come into existence. And then there will be a lot more considerations, a lot more critical reviews of different models. So this is what I'm doing now, which is almost complete.
This is your Bachelor of Arts, kind of linking into it. What were the units that you did that you remember doing from your Bachelor of Arts that you found quite impactful?
Oh, Bachelor of Arts, I did it was mainly translation.
From any specific language?
Yeah, English to Persian.
English to Persian.
to English, right.
Persian to English.
Right.
I've heard that Persian philosophy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's quite insightful.
That's some great Persian philosophers. Yeah.
So you're interested in philosophy?
Not so much. I'm just interested on something which can be verified. I really like history. I really like the past, not the future. I'm not so interested in the future. I really don't want to know what is going to happen in the future, but I really like to go back to the past because it is more evidence-based. Everything can be verified. You can verify it very easily, but not about the future. So I like whatever is verifiable. Even in terms of movies, I never watch movies. I always watch documentaries because I believe documentaries are verifiable. But movies, it is all the producer or the director's imagination, and so it is not even if when I hardly ever watch movies, but even the very few movies I watch, they are based on true stories. There should be something truth behind it.
In this dimension, we have that aspect of it. So engaging with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. Well, I mean, super interesting because you're considering so many different aspects of society.
Yeah.
In relation to how international students are experiencing
Right.
their first year of English abroad studies in Australia.
It is not just English. No, it is not just English. The first year they come here, whether they are studying English or whether they are doing their mainstream courses, it is not just English. It has nothing to do with English at all. It is like the first year they come here.
From all faculties.
From all faculties, right. I don't look at what faculty they belong to. I just look at the first year they arrive here, and then like how they interact. I just try to measure their intercultural competence. Right. After 6 months, I try it again to see if there have been any improvements in their intercultural competences. After 1 year again, and then I also measure their social competence, psychological competence, and also affective academic competence. And then I just compare to see how it improves.
Okay, and so you'll be comparing. You're collecting qualitative and quantitative, and then
it is all quantitative.
All quantitative.
All quantitative. From the very first day they arrive here, I will give them a survey which is kind of quantitative.
Quantitative on intercultural competence.
Right. Quantitative intercultural competence. This is one survey. Another survey is their social competence, how well they can interact, so how socially competent they are. And then I will do kind of academic competence, like what they can do academically. I will measure what they can do academically, and then I will just use their GPAs at the end of year one. Also, I will give them another questionnaire at the end of year one, and then I will just try to check the correlation between these factors and to show if they have improved. If they have improved, is it because of intercultural competence? Or if it has improved, their intercultural competence hasn't improved, it means there is no correlation between them. So I'm looking at if intercultural competence can be a predictive factor. It can affect their social performance, academic performance, and psychological performance.
And then you yourself located what you'll be using, the concepts, and what you'll be using to measure that, or what level of understanding there is for what it means to be competent in those areas.
Yes, so this is what I'm doing, like when I say like a model, so this is a model. So I just create a model based on what I have studied, and also I've got a supervisor who is a psychologist. So we just work together to create a model. And then based on this model which we create, we will just create a questionnaire as well, a quantitative questionnaire, right? So there should be a model for any of the surveys we create. But for my survey, I only create the model for intercultural competence because there are some agreed upon models for the other factors. For like psychological factors, there is a model. For academic performance, there is a model. So I will use those models, but I will just create my own survey for them. So it is once you have to create a model, and then you have to create a survey based on the model. So the construct which I'm creating a model as well as a survey is intercultural competence. But for the other variables, I've got the models. I only need to create the surveys.
Was this a research opportunity or a research consideration that you yourself created?
Yeah, I myself created, right? Yeah, but with consultation with the supervisor, yeah, we created it. No, it is not a research opportunity. No.
Okay, amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exciting. It's providing a lot of insight into something that's different.
Yes,
yeah.
Hopefully it can make a difference, and the result will be something new, kind of innovative. because I'm using an innovative approach in doing in creating the survey. So the survey is not just a kind of self-report or what do you think about this, what do you think about that. It is not this one. I'm just giving them a different type of survey, because in this survey they don't need to report anything about themselves, because most of the time there is kind of faking in what they report. It's it is not polite to give this answer, or it is not fair, or I might look stupid if I give this answer. So I'm just using a different approach. What I will do is I will give students a short video of a scenario. So I will create a scenario myself. A short scenario, like maybe 3-minute video between 2 or 3 people, one of whom is an international student. And then they will watch this video, and next I will ask a question. Oh, what do you think student A did? And why do you think student A did this? So they are not reporting their own perspectives. They are just so they can very easily and very openly answer the questions. So it is all based on videos rather than just asking questions. What do you think about this? What do you think? Or how do you rate yourself? So it is just all based on videos. Okay, yeah.
That's really exciting. That's so interesting.
Yeah, hope it goes well. I will start recording in January, February.
Okay, January, February.
Yeah.
And are you able to share the link that you have for the research paper that has recently
Right.
been
Yes,
said?
I will share. Yeah, I will share it with you. Yeah.
Thank you.
I will email it to you, right? Yeah,
Appreciate
I will
that.
email it to you. Yeah.
I appreciate you taking the space time to talk about this. I'm actually curious because this morning I was reading it was about globalization. Well, the authors, it's from the European Journal of Social Theory, and the authors are from university in Germany. And it was saying that the consideration is not necessarily towards the materials and services, what's being traded in the world internationally per se in that way, that it was looking more at the socio-cultural aspect of it. And it was saying exactly what you were saying, that an innovative and groundbreaking concept, it's about the fact that we are challenged to be in the moment. It was saying that the irreversibility of life imposes limits on omnipresence and multipotentiality. And it was saying that globalization widens the field of spatial and consumptive optionality, but does not provide an escape from the daunting insight that we only have this one life to live. And it was saying that we have this awareness of our system of hopes and fears and wants and satisfactions and the conduction in life. It was talking about how we're not able to necessarily compare that to things in that way. It's about seeing it from a perspective that's creative and innovative.
Yeah.
As what you're currently a part of creating. So I'm excited for you, and I appreciate you making the space time to share.
You're welcome. But there are quite a lot of other researchers who are working on intercultural competence, like linguistics and social competence. Yes, almost everyone in this building, because they belong to humanities and Bassti, like media, culture, and creative arts. They are almost all of them are working on this area. And also we have Professor Farida Fazdar here next door, just one door away, and she's a sociologist. Okay, and she has a lot of publications as well in the area.
Why Australia? Any particular?
First, it was an English-speaking country, and then there were a lot of opportunities here. There were because before I came here, just said, okay, I'm just applying for like a skill migrant to Australia. Then I just searched to see what happens, what opportunities there are, and then I found there are quite a lot of opportunities, and it was called a land of opportunities actually. And then, yes, and the other reason which really encouraged me to apply for this type of citizenship, this type of migration was first job. The job was on the list. And I also had all the criteria. So once I talked to the agent, he said, oh, you've got all the ticks, all the ticks were there. And said, because you will need to achieve, I don't know what the score it was, you will need to have that overall score, like 5 marks for this one, 5 scores for this one, 10 scores for this one.
Were you aware of that before you ended up?
No, I didn't. No. Even I didn't have any ideas about which country. And then, the first country which came up was Australia. And then I just talked to the agent, and the agent said, yeah, that's fine, I'm good. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yes, well, thank you, and enjoy your trip.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I will send you the paper. Right.